Dear friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be diving into another interesting and CTF style machine on the VulnHub, which is Maskcrafter. I will put the link in the video below so that you can download it and play it on your own. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. So now let's head over to Kali Linux VM. First of all, we need to discover the IP address of the target machine. The utility I like to use, as always, would be netdiscover. So, of course, to run netdiscover, we need to use sudo in case you're not root user. And also we can specify the interface option with -i. And also we can specify the optional argument -r to narrow down the network range. This can speed up our scanning process. So now we can hit enter. All right. As you can see over here, the second IP address 60 belongs to the target machine. And also we can note this information to our notebook. 60. So what shall we do next? We need to perform port and self-scanning with Nmap. To save time of this video, I've already completed before. So now we can get out its result. Sorry. Oh, not this directory. Cat the Nmap. Let's scroll up because I'm going to show you which kind of options have been taken by me earlier. So I took the options like scene scan, the version scan, default script scan, and then full range port scan. The last option for all is ON to output the result into this file. And then we can retrieve scanning results whenever. From the Nmap scanning results, we can tell the target machine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 open ports. But I think the last 5 ports are related to NFS service or network file sharing service. Okay? Also, in most cases, we can ignore this 111 port, and this is RPC bind service or remote procedural call service. So what can we do next? Now, maybe we can take a look at all open ports one by one. The first open port is 21, and the service is FTP or File Transfer Protocol. And also we can get the version information, although the Nmap cannot determine its exact version number. And also with this option, SC option, we can tell the target machine allows anonymous login. Afterwards, we need to check it out manually. The second one is 22, and the service is SSH service. And also we can get its version information, including its exact version number. Though this version is a bit outdated, I don't think we can find any workable exploits. Let's move on. The next one is 80. The port is 80 and the service is HTTP or Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And also we can get the version information, Apache 2. Okay, and the requested resource is login page. And this one, just I said, we can ignore this port number. And all remaining ports belong to the NFS service. So what are we going to do next? We need to enumerate the file sharing service first. For example, in this case, we should enumerate FTP and NFS. Let's do it now. And so I think we can note down some major discoveries. 21, FTP, 22, SSH service, NT, HTTP, and also we have some port number for, I think usually, yeah, this port number for NFS. Okay, so now we go to the enumeration part, FTP. So how to enumerate FTP service? First of all, we need to connect to this target machine. Okay, so the username is anonymous, no password, and there is one directory, cd, to this directory, and we can have two files. One is nodes and another is cred. And also we can check to see whether we have permission to upload a file. Okay, and we can create test file. Okay, so now we can use put test. We are allowed to upload the file. However, we can't do very much, even though we can upload the file. Okay, and also we can check to see whether we can navigate across different locations. We can't. So now we can exit from FTP session. Now we can cut out the nodes textual file. So dear web administrator, please choose a stronger password for debug web directory. So I think this hint left by the root user is telling us debug should be some kind of web directory, and right now the password is weak to some extent. And also please revisit the SQL code to prevent SQL injections, because the way it is now, it's absolutely terrible. Okay, so in other words, the web application is possibly vulnerable to SQL injection. Okay, so very important discovery. Next, we can try to unzip this file. However, we are required to supply its password. So how to crack password for zip file? And we, of course, we can use the John Ripper or Hashcat. But before we try to use these two approaches, we need to use like a zip to jump to convert this zip file, this zip cred, to like hash, and then we can launch the John Ripper to crack it. But you know, because John Ripper can support and also Hashcat can support a variety of hash algorithm, this case is zip file, and for zip file we can take, I think, a more effective way, which is fcrackzip, and we can use, dictionary unzip, and D means dictionary based attack. So now we can use rockyou as word list. So hashes, press enter. Oh, not hashes, sorry. This should be cred. Let's press enter. However, fcrackzip cannot crack the password for this zip file with the word list of rockyou. Okay, so I'd like to interrupt this fcrackzip. So how to the next? I think we have already completed. Maybe I can copy, this file. Requires password. Okay, and now let's move on to the NFS surface. So how to, so maybe we can use fcrack, and we can use this way to kill this process. Okay, so now it's time to enumerate NFS service or network file sharing service. So how to enumerate? We can use show mount with option E followed by the IP address of the target machine. Press enter. However, we didn't get any shares on the target machine. In other words, we cannot do very much at this point with this NFS service. Okay, so NFS service, nothing. So now we have to enumerate a web application. Maybe I can launch this newer Firefox. And we can access this web application. Press enter. Oh, sorry, I need to disable the proxy in advance. Try again. So this web page was created out of urgency, and as such, some features are still buggy and may not work as intended. So we can try to use admin as username and admin as password. Click login button. So now we got wrong username and password, and we can try to use login bypass technique, because just now we can tell from the notes left by the root user, this web application is possibly vulnerable to SQL injection. Okay, password anything, login. As you can see, we are successful. However, no any functions with the admin user. Just this is the admin, the COVID-19 localhost productivity. Nothing valuable here. So let's go ahead. So how to do? We can, of course, we can try to access its robot file. Debug. Also, just now, from the notes, we know that, yes, the web application has debug directory. So now we can access this directory. We can open up a new tab and access this debug. And here, the username, as we know from the notes, the same notes file, the username should be admin, and also the password is very weak, like admin. As well, sign in, it works. So here, we can run command like id. So ifconfig, uname. Of course, at this point, we can only run 3 commands. However, it would be very possible to inject or to run other commands, because this control is implemented on the browser. if we launch Burp Suite and we change or manipulate the command, and then I think the manipulated command can be executed by the web application. But for now, we can put it aside for a while. So the admin, or no, debug, possibly command execution, okay, or injection. However, as following my methodology, I need to complete the UU enumeration with this web application. For example, Nicto. We can launch Nicto to perform web enumeration. So as you can see over here, we can get the version information, the DB. Interesting. We can have a look at this file. DB, PHP. DB collection is okay. So nothing very useful here. All right. And this one, I don't think it's real value, is the real vulnerability. Let's test it out. Having trouble finding the site. Okay. So we can let it run and wait this Nicto to be complete. Not too much exciting information. Oh, login, phpMyAdmin. Great, login. So I think we can access this login. Maybe this is the, because we have already logged into to this application, and also the phpMyAdmin. PHP. As you know, phpMyAdmin is a web application which provides, the panel to manage databases with GUI. Okay, so we can try to use root as username and root as password, either, but failed to log in. However, we need to note down such information. phpMyAdmin. Okay, so now I'd like to launch GoBuster to perform directory enumeration. With the list, GoBuster, directory, extension option. Press enter. And the warning. Interesting. We can have a look at this warning page. PHP. So due to the increased demand for our product, you are to ramp up your productivity by 200%, else suffer a pay cut. What do you mean? And also the functions. Maybe we can copy this file name. Press enter. DB collection. Okay. I don't think GoBuster can find anything else. However, we are a bit lucky. Just now we have already found this directory, which is possibly vulnerable to command injection. Okay. So how to do? Let's go back to the browser and access this debug. Press enter. And now we can enable the proxy and launch the Burp Suite, which is one of the most popular or famous web proxies. Okay, so now we can click next And then we can start our community Burp Suite. Then we can navigate to Proxy tab to enable intercept option. So we can select any of 3 commands, execute, and then we can get or intercept this request, and then we can send this request to repeater module, and then we can navigate to this repeater module because I'm going to run other command. Who am I? Send. But this command is not executed. Maybe there is some kind of whitelist or blacklist. I don't know. So how about like uname or new name is supported already. So how about ls send? Interesting. But the command cannot be executed. So how about this one? ls. Interesting. ls. So how about the ulim itself? Send. Why? Always select command to run. Very, very weird. So how about we put some reverse command, shell command. For example, I'd like to get the command, reverse command of Python. And put over here. We can copy. And 555. We can copy. Put over here. You know, as pen tester, we just try and try. Before we send this request, I'd like to set up listener with netcat, waiting for collection from the target machine. So now we can send. It works. You know, a bit weird, right? So now we can spawn interactive shell by Python bin bash. Okay. Now we need to, maybe I can make the font a bit bigger. Then we can go to the home directory. The 3 normal user. But nothing here. So how about research? Permission denied. So how about user X? Permission denied as well. So how about sudo? We are forced to provide the password. Of course, this www-data doesn't have any password. So I think I can define the environment variable term. Then we can clear screen whenever to get a bigger space on the window. Okay, it's much better. We continue our immersion. The var and go to backups. Nothing here. Go to www directory and go to HTML directory. We can get out the DB. So this contains database collection credentials. Just now, we failed to log into the phpMyAdmin application, right? So how about we use this credential to log in? We can copy and put over here. So now we can disable this intercept option. And next, I'm going to access phpMyAdmin. And the username is a web. And the password is this one. Click go. It's working. So now we can go to my database, create the two tables, create and login. And we can get the username, password, but we do not need it, right? And also the create. This table contains zip password. Beautiful. Just now we failed to crack its password. So I think now we can use this password to unzip. We can copy and let's use unzip. Oh, password is incorrect. So maybe I can copy one more time. So why it's not correct? Unzip. Password incorrect. Re-enter. Refresh. Oh, we forgot to exclaimer. Okay, so I think so. Now we can copy it again and to unzip, and we can get this create textual file, and then we can get the username and password. So then we can SSH to the target machine with this username and corresponding password. Very long password. We can copy, paste here. Nothing here. So next we can run sudo to see whether the current user can run sudo. Can. So we can make a lot of movement to this user by running this shell script. So next we can check the permission settings for this shell script. So current user have full permissions to this script. Great. So now so now we can, I think we can bing bash to this file what. Okay, now we can sudo to this user scripts what. Okay, so as you can see, we have already become another user. So next we can go to the home directory, go to this, but nothing here. Then we can run sudo again. We can make another lateral movement to this user by Socat command. So how to do? Let's go to the GTF opens website, and we can, spawn another shell. Okay, let me copy this command. To be honest, I cannot remember it. We need to get help from internet. So here should be IP address of the canonics port number we can take another or unoccupied port number on the Kali Linux sudo research. So I think we can copy, and also we can copy absolute path of Socat, and then we can copy before we hit enter. We should set up another listener on the Kali Linux. Okay, hit enter. We get this new shell which belong to, researcher X. So also we can spawn interactive shell by Python. So now we can go to home directory, research. Maybe we can use this one. Oh, we can't. Interesting. I cannot use this to navigate to its home directory. But nothing here. So now we can run sudo again. We can run dpkg command to elevate privilege to root user. So how to do? Let's go to this website of GTF OBIMS. Again, based on my practice, this cannot work. I mean, the first method can't work. We need to take the second approach. So how to do? Let me copy commands one by one. Let's navigate to temp directory. Paste over here. And we can copy the second line. And then next one. Okay, it seems it's working. We can copy the last line of a command. As you can see, we have already become the root user by, from this hashtag symbol. Then we can navigate to root directory to grab the root flag without any difficulty. So I think that's pretty much it. I'd like to see you next. Bye. Have a nice day, please.